All right, I'm back. So Indiana Jones 5, this movie will incorporate time travel. Indiana Jones was one of those movies. The first and the third. The second came later. I wasn't allowed to watch that one because of the violence and the occult. My mom was very sensitive to that type of stuff. Those movies were hugely influential in the way that Indiana Jones, that character was one of the characters that I wanted to dress as. I wanted to have that hat, Pretty comparable to Alan Grant from Jurassic Park. And that was kind of funny since they wanted Harrison Ford in the Alan Grant role. Well, he turned it down because he knew it was too similar to Indiana Jones. Yeah, so to have a fifth one, course correct where the fourth one went, and to make it in the same tone and to bid adieu in a very respectful, adventurous, but also emotional. The third was very emotional because I've seen the third one like countless times. It's about reuniting Indiana Jones with his dad and letting go of things that he thought was important, and through the past two films, these artifacts. But that moment between Sean Connery and Indy.
Indiana. Let it go.
And I always don't want him to, like, come on, you could, give him a little bit of room, Sean Connery. He could reach it, but that's not the point. The point is that he's looking up at his dad and he's looking at what the most important thing is in his life right now. You had this bookend, this perfect bookend of literally riding off into the sunset. And the hope here is that the fifth one really just locks in an even more beautiful way than the third. There's no need to continue it with like the way that they tried to do that with Shia LaBeouf. Just let it rest. Let it be. Just in the same way that Harrison Ford said,
I'm Indiana Jones.
So when you're gone, it's gone.
When I'm gone, he's gone. It's easy.
No more truer words were said than that when it comes to this character. Having one actor from a franchise portray it, he embodied it so well, and not doing a remake, I think that's a beautiful thing. It's something that's sacred. It's something that's special. That's what makes it special. When you have a remake happen, or a reboot, it denigrates the legacy of the character in the same way that Sean Connery said at the end of The Last Crusade. Let it go. Now, you already see behind the scenes photos of Harrison Ford with motion capture dots on his face so that this kind of technology is used when it comes to de-aging, or, well, what else is it going to be? They're not going to make him look like an alien or something. That fourth one, no, we're going to pretend that never happened. This could be exciting. It could go the way of The Irishman, where you see the physicality of an actor doing scenes, and you can tell that they're of an elderly age.
I'm not afraid! No!
No disrespect to the actors that have had this done. It has been actually very well done in the example of Michael Douglas at the beginning of Ant-Man. Close second would be Robert Downey Jr. as a young man in the beginning of Civil War, I believe. They have to get it right. And I think James Mangold, who has a really great track record of films, I think he's a fantastic director. He has a critical eye when it comes to things. And if they're not up to par, I don't think he'll do it. So in this way, I put my faith in James Mangold, who I think is going to pull off a really great movie, reinvigorate and give a proper send-off to Indiana Jones, because really, this is probably going to be the last one. And rightfully so. You just can't keep doing this over and over again. Harrison Ford, he's of an elderly age, and it's just the reality of the fact. In this instance, though, while we're here, Why don't we make a fucking great Indiana Jones movie? In the context of where we're at right now. He's of an elderly age. What can we do with that? And I think James Mangold will do something that'll be satisfying. Seeing Harrison Ford with that the younger face and all that stuff, it could be exciting, you know, to see that. In the way that Endgame went back and they revisited the older movies, that could be done with this one. You could revisit the previous movies, except the fourth. You could revisit the 3 other movies that we all love. And certainly that particular Indiana Jones, you know, from that era. There could be another aspect in which, you know, I don't know, it's an alternate reality or in some way some technology de-ages him in the present time in which he is in. However, that's probably not the case because there have been photos featuring Nazis. So we are going back to the late 1930s or the early 40s. So maybe this video isn't as smart as I think it's going to be. Of course it's going to involve time travel. But I guess at the end of the day, I think this is my reaction to that idea. And I think it could be really good. And the fact that they have James Mangold, who has done, you know, Wolverine, dealing with a character who has a huge legacy behind him, and the way that they want to finish that off is the reason that I think they hired him. So let's do it.